The proposed USD 383 budget may raise taxes 3% for the average homeowner in the Manhattan-Ogden school district. The school board last night unanimously authorized the budget to be published at a mill levy of 59.184 for fiscal year 2026. That's a slight decrease from 59.909 last year. The budget is projected to go over the revenue neutral rate and would result in about a $14 increase in property taxes on those who own a $100,000 home. Board member Greg Hoyt.
It's also the sixth consecutive year that the mill levy has dropped.
Correct.
And so, yes, property values are increasing, but that just means anybody that owns property is actually gaining wealth in our community.
Correct.
So I do thank the patrons of USD 383 for their support of education, because it is not that way in all places.
The school board set the revenue neutral rate hearing for September 3rd last night. A new nightclub is coming to Aggieville. All Red Management has owned Johnny Cause at 1218 Morrow Street since 2011 and recently made the decision to sell that property. The company plans to move across the street and combine both of its concepts with the Yard Bar and a nightclub in one building. Owner Brett Allred says the company is still working with designers on plans to start construction soon. Longer term, he says the company intends to expand some of the concepts they've built in the Kansas City area into buildings surrounding Yard Bar to create their own little district within Aggieville. Allred says something similar has been done in the Westport area that holds over 3,500 people, and he says that's had some success. The company is hoping to open the new nightclub at the start of the spring semester. One person was cited after a motorcyclist was struck by a pickup truck Tuesday morning in southeast Manhattan. According to RCPD, a Chevy Silverado driven by 55-year-old Isidoro Arguello struck a Harley-Davidson driven by 71-year-old Donald Taylor in the 400 block of Levy Drive. Taylor had to be airlifted to KU Medical Center for treatment of major injuries. Arguello, meanwhile, was cited for inattentive driving, no proof of insurance, and no proof of driver's license. When the One Big Beautiful Act was signed into law on July 4th, a few changes took place involving the Research and Development Tax Credit. K-State and Washburn law professor Roger McGowan explains how things have changed from the previous rule.
The upfront deduction of research and experimental expenditures that feed into the R&D tax credit. So that's a big deal. We don't have to expense these expenditures anymore. We get a current deduction with a twist.
He explains what that twist is for farmers and ranchers and how it's different.
The One Big Beautiful Bill Act allows certain businesses to make an election to apply the new rule retroactively to research and experimental expenses that are paid or incurred in tax years beginning after 21. So you can go back and get your expenses in 22, 23, and 24 if you qualify and if you make an election.
He says most Kansas operations should qualify based on a threshold of $31 million or less in average annual gross receipts for the 3 preceding tax years from the one in question.
Good morning, I'm Troy Coverdale with your sports headlines. Preparations continue for K-State's opener against Iowa State in Ireland on the 23rd. As part of that work, assistant head coach Van Malone has had a front row seat in watching quarterback Avery Johnson get ready for the new year.
I think he's making quicker, sharper, crisper decisions, which, especially for a guy in the secondary, that's a problem. He's making decisions with the football in their RPO game. He is seeing things pre-snap a lot faster.
We're now 16 days away from the opener as the 30th season of Power Cat Game Day kicks off our coverage at 7 on the 23rd on News Radio KMAN and 101.5 K-Rock. K-State redshirt junior Anaya Clinton was selected to the preseason All-Big 12 volleyball team, the conference office announced yesterday. The 6'2" outside hitter was one of 18 to earn a spot on the preseason squad. The Wildcats were picked 8th in the annual preseason poll. Jonathan India hit a 3-run homer, and Michael Wacha scattered 5 hits over 6 innings. Royals over the Red Sox last night, 7-3, ending a 7-game winning streak for Boston. Kansas City will have today off before opening a stint in Minnesota for the weekend. Seth Lugo to face Joe Ryan in the opener tomorrow night on News Radio KMAN. Have a great day. I'm Troy Coverdale.